In addition to the friendships and social support that she found at Harbor House, she also found her purpose. Purpose, which is that thing that we all strive for throughout life. And in addition to Janet getting her purpose, finding her purpose at Harbor House, it also provided her a safety net. Because as I began to question Mom's ability to care for Janet, it was Maria that I reached out to. I asked her to keep an eye on Janet and let me know if she saw anything that seemed off. And within a few weeks, she called me and said there was a problem. And she went with me to talk to my mom about Janet's care. When the doctor's diagnosis came back as Alzheimer's, and the doctor said that Mom could not be allowed to drive or to be responsible for another human or another person, once again, Harbor House supported our family. They had someone come to the house each morning to help Janet get dressed and get ready for the bus. They had someone come to the house to bathe her. And they had someone come and transport her to her doctor's appointments. Janet had been going to bingo on Friday nights for as long as I could remember with my mom. And my sister Jill and I were determined to try to figure out a way for this to continue. And then we got a call from some staff members from Harbor House, and they said they would help us. I'm telling you, the support that this organization gives is unbelievably amazing. Janet now has dementia. If you visit on Wednesdays at lunchtime, you'll see my dad having lunch with Janet, but they don't split a pizza anymore. Now Dad feeds her. Harbor House has been the one constant in Janet's life. And even though she doesn't remember our names, she remembers to get up each morning and sit by the door and wait for the bus. Next week, we will celebrate her 61st birthday, and Harbor House has been there for Janet throughout the years, supporting her through her life changes, loving her, and caring for her. My family and I will forever be grateful for this wonderful organization and also for the wonderful leadership of Maria Smith. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, there is no better cause and no better chance to change your life. So let's move forward to the present and look forward to the future. Thank you and God bless.
What a powerful testimony to the importance of a place like Harbor House. So thank you, Pat, for sharing. I feel like the light that you kind of talk about that Harbor House provides, we need that now more than ever. So next, we'll have Maria Smith.
It's a community place, a place where everybody comes and is welcome. It's a place where they come and are involved. They have a sense of purpose. They have meaning in their life. You know, it serves the whole family.
This is probably the happiest place that we go. It's a passionate place, but on the outside as you walk into it, it's a joyful place. There's a lot of people that need a lot of care in different parts of this community. But what they do here is remarkable, always has been.
This model of organization is so unique, but yet it's such a need in our community.
It doesn't just serve that individual. When the individual is served, the community is served, the family is served. And now we want to serve them in a much deeper, cohesive way, where anything that we provide on a day-to-day basis, everybody can take advantage of.
She's built this place into something that wasn't even dreamed 20 years ago or sometimes 10 years ago. And she's always finding a new way to help the community, and a new way to help her clients, and a new way to enhance what everybody's doing.
In the past year, most of us would say that we've experienced feelings like isolation, fear of the unknown, the feeling of being helpless in a scary situation. But for some people, this can be their daily life experience. Like someone who is disabled, who is homebound, someone who is isolated or alone. The what if of their everyday life can be scary. What if my caregiver doesn't come? What if I can't get my medicine today? But what if there were a way to change that? What if? What if they were empowered to see hope instead of fear? What if they were given resources and gained the confidence to handle whatever comes next? We've had a peek into what it can be like to have the needs that you can't meet yourself, to be vulnerable. We have a once-in-a-lifetime chance to use what we've experienced to motivate us to do more, be more, give more, and create a place so that no one has to feel that way ever again. What would you do? What would you give to have a tomorrow that will be better than today?
Good evening. Thank you for being here. As we honor our past, we can clearly see the connection between our past and our present to our future, and that thread that creates the beautiful tapestry of our lives. There are ups and downs, sadness and hurts. There are rejoicing and many blessings along the way. From Matthew Kelly's book, he's got a book called Life is Messy. In there, he said, there are moments in our lives that are so pivotal that we never stop drawing on them for wisdom, courage, and direction. As you heard in the video from the past, which was a much younger me, some people tagged me and said, that was you? Yes, 25 years ago. To now, in the present, you learned of my strong desire and belief in the richness of bringing generations together. This started one day while observing my grandmother sitting on the floor with my young child, Nicholas, and playing with him. And the joy in their eyes and the love and the attention she gave just warmed my heart. And I took a photo of that. You saw that in the video as well. That was a defining moment for me, a moment that never left me. So, and then the summer of 1995, while I was finishing my degree at Bellarmine, I wrote a business plan. The professor asked me, what do you want to write about? I said, not a product. I don't want to bring a product to market. What about a service? He said, what do you have in mind? And I said, well, I'd like to bring children and seniors together. Little did I know it was called intergenerational. And he said, love your idea. Why don't you explore that and bring it back to me? So we did, and I did. My husband helped me. But it was a thought, an idea that never left me. Not since 1987, watching my grandmother with her great-grandchildren. Earlier this evening, I don't know if you heard, but John played Forever Young, the song by Rod Stewart. And as I was pondering that business plan and what I would do with that song came on the radio. And I thought, wow, Forever Young Care Facility. I was most touched by those words. May the good Lord be with you down every road you roam. May you grow to be dignified and true. May you be courageous and be brave, a man if I had to be. And may your heart, and in my heart you will always stay forever young. May good fortune be with you and may your guiding light be strong. This moment has returned to me time and time again, and it was the sharing of that plan with Pat's aunt that brought me to Harbor House when I was asked if people with disabilities would fit into that model. The board of Harbor House asked me to come on board and to write a business plan, not a business plan, but a strategic plan for the organization. And I said, okay, I'll do that in my last classes at Bellarmine. And in May of 1996, they asked me to come and put that plan into play. That was 25 years ago, and what a defining moment. A life-changing moment. As you see, I fell in love with the people. Harbor House has continued on its journey of growth. It's been both exciting, full of hope and amazing opportunities. Hope every day. You see Baba walking. The young gentleman in the video that you just saw was in a wheelchair. Physical therapists came to help Baba walk, but then their time was up, and our staff said, oh no, we're going to help Baba continue to walk. So Maria, one of our staff members you saw in the video, and the rest of the staff help him walk every day, so he's not confined to a wheelchair anymore. I'm incredibly humbled to be before you today to look at the next stage of growth for this organization and all that Harbor House has been and all that it will be for our community. We're preparing now for the future by being intentional in many of our aspects, from hiring of our staff, and we have some amazing staff, and they're here tonight with you, to talented board members that are committed to helping this prosper and see us through. We've been updating our systems, our infrastructures, while at the same time incorporating new programs that add seniors and children into what we do today. There is intentionality behind all that we do. We've made meaningful choices to grow and to lead us in the next steps. Because we knew we always wanted our future to include children and seniors, we've added and continue to add programs. At first, we had seniors come in and help us with volunteering. And then we started a business called Home Sweet Home, where not only it serves the seniors, but our individuals with disabilities, because it gives them an opportunity to work in the community at a competitive, integrated setting, working along others to meet everyone's needs. We currently are in 65 plus homes and have witnessed many beautiful relationships blossom and grow. A future we're building for our children. We've started a young adult program through our New Teens program. We have incorporated many of our children from 8th grade up to high school in our program, directly interacting with our participants. We've also included OT students from Spalding. As they do their practicums, they work with our participants, and nursing students from U of L. All of these people come together to build a stronger bond in our community. I'd like to introduce to you a couple that came to us and the beautiful relationship they have, and I think you'll be touched by their sweet story, and that's Beth and Brian. However, Beth couldn't join us tonight. She was sick. So her husband, David, is here to share the story of how they came together and the beautiful way that they illustrate what we try to do every day at Harbor House and bring in natural supports and people together to serve one another. David and Brian.
Check. All right, thank you, Maria. Welcome, everyone. I appreciate being invited to be here tonight. My name is David Bazanis, and my wife, Beth, and I are volunteers at Harbor House. And we are here to introduce our friend, Brian Travis. I would like to let you know that it's exciting to see such a great turnout for such a wonderful organization. And we know that Harbor House is a special place for Brian, as it has been for us as well. My wife and Brian are actually childhood friends, and they reconnected a few years ago. And at that point, I got to meet Brian for the first time, and I think the first thing he did was come up and just give me a big bear hug and then lean back and tell me Beth was my high school girlfriend. And then he ended up telling the waitress and the cashier and the gas station attendant, and basically just wanted me to know what the score was. but they have been close friends for a long time. And in spending time with Brian, he made it obvious in every conversation that he was getting something from Harbor House that was very special and important to him. Every conversation led to the friends that he had there, the activities that they would do, his girlfriends that he had. And so my wife, Beth, is a very talented artist, and so she was looking for a place to give her time and her talents, and it became an apparent place where we wanted to invest some of our time. And so when we reached out to the staff, it was an amazing experience. Immediately, we felt like family. Maria and her team and the leadership at Harbor House is tremendous, and so we're very grateful for them not only engaging us, but participating in all of the activities and things that led paint parties into dance parties and created just a wonderful, fulfilling environment for not just the caregivers and the volunteers, but also us and our children and our friends. So we're very grateful for the work that they do there. With that, I would like to introduce my friend Brian Travis, my wife's boyfriend, so that he can tell you why Harbor House is important to him.
Thank you, everyone. As you well know, I've been going there for 6 years. I've made a lot of friends. My favorite thing, we go on outings, my favorite thing is the Kentucky Derby every year. I've been to it since 2017. I love the people I meet. They'll give me a hard time. I like that. So I just thank you all for coming tonight, and God bless Harbor House. I got nailed that.
Thank you, David and Brian. I was pulling into Harbor House the other day, and I'm on the phone taking a business call and had a couple of guys on the phone with me, and Brian comes out to greet me, as he does most mornings. And I roll my window down because I'm in the middle of the conference call, and Brian says, "Good morning, Maria." He sticks his head in the car door to give me a hug, and he says, "I'm so glad to see you." And these guys on the phone hear this, and I said, "This is the way I get greeted every morning. Wouldn't it be great if everybody got greeted that way in the morning?" I mean, just absolutely precious. As I shared this intergenerational plan with my mother one day, she said, "You know, Maria, the people that are closest to God are the children who just came from God and our seniors who are getting ready to go to God." And I said, "I'll also tell you, that's our individuals with disabilities who never left God." So I say, may God continue to bless us as we weave that tapestry of love, hope, and empowerment by embracing life together. Thank you for being here tonight.
Hold it together tonight. Y'all making me so emotional. All right. So in a moment, we are going to have another video, a little short video, where we will hear from Donna Butts about the future of Harbor House and what we see for it.
One of the things that Maria does, she has a vision to bring intergenerationals together, serve their needs that they have, and be able to provide opportunities for a whole array of individuals.
You know, they have such an opportunity and are so influential families in this community that you know, are being impacted by some challenge. And, you know, your heart goes out to those families, and you like to know that there's somebody out there that's helping those families through those difficult moments.
It has a mission and a name and a purpose that's going to be known by a lot of people. It's a hidden jewel, in my opinion.
Generations United started this movement. It is across the world. It is the first of its kind in Louisville, and in fact in the state of Kentucky. And we want to replicate this model into the future and hope that this will become the new social model, a way for the community to come together, where the children don't have to go home after school and they have somewhere to go, someone that cares for them, a place where everybody can come and be together and serve one another.
It's just phenomenal what they do.
Real asset for our community.
It's not just our community that's in need, it's every community that's in need of this.
For nearly 30 years, we've been able to take our participants into our lives like family. We do this every day to ensure that this legacy of safety, love, respect, and community can never be forgotten. We want to build something that will leave a legacy, a community that will teach and model what we all wish community could mean for everyone: acceptance, safety, community, love, hope, and empowerment.
Good evening. I'm Donna Butts with Generations United. And if I have one huge regret this fall, it's that I can't be there with you in person to celebrate the wonderful future that you're creating and that you will be creating, Harbor House Intergenerational Life Center. It's a tremendous example of what one of our founders at Generations United said when they announced that we were going to be formed. He said, "We formed Generations United to argue for a caring society, to argue for a caring society." And that's what Harbor House Intergenerational Life Center is and will be, is an example of a caring society, a society that realizes it has an opportunity to value our bookend generations, our most important generations, our youngest and oldest, that too often get cast aside. They really do strengthen our communities, our countries, and our families. And the tremendous vision that Maria Smith has in creating Harbor House Intergenerational Life Center is fabulous. But she has not only the vision, she has the tenacity, because it's not easy work, but it's critical work. And I'd also like to call out Bob Zollner for his support and commitment to the Harbor House Intergenerational Life Center, the teams that you work with, the people that are already on board and helping to make this a reality. You really are weaving together the tapestry of hope, of love, of empowerment. Intergenerational shared sites are the embodiment of that sort of tapestry and that forum that allow those connections to come together. There's so many benefits. It's a benefit that reaches across generations, a benefit that fans out and touches families, touches communities, touches neighbors, and really strengthens our world when we weave that social compact that recognizes we all give and receive at various times of our lives, and we allow people to be those givers and to be those receivers. There's some great examples of intergenerational shared sites around the world. One of my favorites is outside of Tokyo. It's called Kotian, and it was founded 25 or 30 years ago. And it's a site where children arrive in the morning and older adults lead them in exercise out in the courtyard. Then they hug, they go about their day, and they come back together at the end of the day. So the older adults can hold the children in their laps, read to them as other children are being picked up. They're not worried they're going to be left behind because they're being comforted by a grand friend, somebody they care about. And then there's Jinx, Oklahoma, where pre-K and kindergarten are located in the middle of a senior care facility. The older adults greet those children every day, let them know they're welcome and they're wanted. Then during the day, they're their reading buddies. And that reading assistance means that those children, when they graduate from kindergarten into first grade, are at least 2 grades ahead of other children because of that extra investment. And then there's Ebenezer Ridges in Minnesota, where a child on entering first grade, the first question they had is, where are the grand friends? Where do they live? Because they're used to having them in their school. They're used to having them in their lives every day. And older adult volunteers who've been known to say, you gave me back my life. You gave me back purpose and meaning because I get to be in with these children and I get to invest in them too. So really what Harbor House Intergenerational Life Center is doing is it's engaging people who often get the message that they're not valued and demonstrating that they are truly valued and have a place. So it's really easy to care for generations separately, the ways our policies and regulations are set up, but it doesn't make it right. And what's being created in Louisville now with the Harbor House Intergenerational Life Center is what's right. So what we want you to do, and what I hope you do, is do your part. Support Harbor House Intergenerational Life Center, not just tonight, but throughout its history. You're investing in Louisville's future, a future that embraces all ages and all abilities. It's your future, and you can create it for those you love, for your family, and for yourself. You're going to hear soon from one of my heroes, Sister Edna. She's amazing. She is someone who has a compassionate vision, has made that caring vision happen in St. Anne Center for Intergenerational Care. She's been doing this for many years, and she's inspired so many people to follow in her footsteps. So just remember that we can do this, and you can do this if you work together. You can really make it happen and create a world that values and engages all generations. By supporting Harbor House Intergenerational Life Center, you are investing in those who want and need you to invest and who strengthen your community. Thank you.
All right. Great words from Donna. So now, as Donna said, I would like to bring up somebody that, I've been highly anticipating since my little orientation when we went over the script before this event. So I would like to bring up Sister Edna, who, by the way, came all the way here from Milwaukee, Wisconsin. So she came a long way just to be with us tonight. So without further ado, Sister Edna, if you wouldn't mind to come up and share about your vision of the future of Harbor House. Is yours.
I was told I kind of lost my voice. I've been trying to talk to a lot of people. But anyway, I'm just very proud to be up here and to be able to talk about a new intergenerational life center, and from someone that really knows what she's doing, and a staff who's extremely dedicated. But this is going to be the first life care center in Kentucky. That's something all of us can be very proud of, because really the intergenerational model really works. As a founder of St. Anne Center for Intergenerational Care in Milwaukee, I've seen the magic that happens when children, adults, and elders get together that may be somewhat different because of disabilities, but they're together under one roof every single day, Monday through Friday. I learned about the plans of Howard House for Intergenerational Care Life Center. I become very impressed by the beautiful areas that they have chosen to build this wonderful design, and then to provide opportunities for generations to interact and develop strong, lasting relationships. This is not about a grade school visiting a senior center. This is about young and old and those in the between years getting together every day. They call each other by name, and they feel very comfortable and at home with each other. An intergenerational home has immeasurable benefits for both children and adults. And studies by Generations United, and she alluded to it, have shown that children that are in an intergenerational setting in their early years are 11 months ahead developmentally than their peers. In fact, the teachers will often say they know the children that come from St. Anne's to kindergarten. And then older adults are more active and even live longer, as much as it's predicted 3-4 years. And why is that? It's because they have a sense of purpose. They have a reason for getting out of bed in the morning. I think of Mary, one of our clients. I remember when she came the first day, I had met her in the lobby. Mary, for medical reasons, has no legs. But she was a pediatric nurse, and a really, really good nurse, so she says. And I had a meaning in my life. I had a reason to get out of bed in the morning, and I don't have that anymore. So, during the afternoon, I was kind of concerned about her, so I went to check on her. And the 3-year-olds had visited, and little Michael had climbed up in her lap. He didn't care whether she had legs or not. There's a warm, friendly lap, and he was tired, and he climbed up and fell asleep. And when I went to visit, Mary looked up at me and smiled and said, "I guess I have a purpose in life." I am excited to think about the many ways that the Harbor House Intergenerational Life Center will become a home away from home for the people you serve. From the moment they walk through the door, they will feel welcome, accepted, respected, and deeply, deeply valued. You may quickly find that bringing old and young together in a home-like setting makes perfect sense. For too long here in our United States, we have separated the age groups. Children go off to preschool or to kindergarten or grade school. The adults go off to work, and the adults go to some retirement community. We are missing and losing out on a very rich resource by not exposing these generations and having opportunity for them to live together. The intergenerational model turns this separation on its head, and the results are amazing. I have seen the youngest children just blossom when they're in the environment of inclusion and connection with others who are deep or who are different or look different from them. Instead of fearing people who are older than or have a disability, they come to see them as friends. They embrace difference rather than facing it. I know you will find that sacred connection between people of all ages and abilities at Harbor House Intergenerational Life Center, a place of limitless possibility, a place that can truly transform lives. I'll never forget the story of the mother of a 4-year-old child. She ran in one day and dropped her off in daycare. And she stopped by the desk. She says, "I'm in a hurry, but I've just got to tell you this story. I took my daughter, Kathy, to McDonald's last night, and we were sitting there eating supper, and in walks an elderly couple, and the gentleman had very severe tremors, more than likely Parkinson's, and they sat down and started to eat. And the little girl and the elderly gentleman eyed one another. And without any prompting, the little girl got up out of her chair, walked over, and shook the older man's hand. And the wife of the older gentleman started to cry. She walked over to the mother and she said, "I can never take my husband anywhere where children are not afraid of him. Why is it your child is not afraid? She explained to her that she sees people who are different every single day since she was born. You will soon see that even the youngest children, when given an opportunity to get to know people of different ages and abilities, they're capable of tremendous, tremendous compassion. At St. Anne's Center, a good example is what little Alexis does, who's now 4 years old. She is the daughter of one of our CNAs, and she has been coming since she was born. This little girl, her job in the morning was to push Karen in her wheelchair up to her unit. She would push the button, which she found very, very satisfying. She pushed the button on the elevator, and she wasn't much taller than the wheelchair, but she pushed her on the elevator, pushed the button to second floor, pushed her off the elevator to her daycare unit, and that was Alexis' job every day. Another important part of creating an intergenerational home is giving the people an opportunity to succeed. Everybody, as I said, needs a reason to get out of bed in the morning. One of my favorite stories is the story about William and Jim. Jim has developmental disabilities in his 20s, and William is a young fella about age 15 who's in our buddy program. And I stopped by one day because every time Jim comes, he plays dominoes with, William plays dominoes with Jim. And I was watching them and then walked away. And that afternoon, I ran into William and I said, William, I bet you always win when you play dominoes with Jim. And he looked at me very perplexed and he said, oh no, sister, I always let him win. You know, what if we had a world in which we helped each other to win? That is the kind of place, the kind of home that we'll be seeing built here in just the months ahead. I congratulate you, Maria, and all her staff for being a trailblazer for the intergenerational model of care in Kentucky. And judging by the energy, investment, and confidence I've seen among your Harbor House family and supporters, all of you, I'm sure it will become a success story that will inspire many others across the country, a place where children grow up and adults grow older in the best way possible together. Thank you.
Thank you, Sister Edna, for such an inspiring view of the future. So we've come to that point where we're weaving it together, right? We've talked about the past and the present and the future, right? Integral to success. So to help us weave the past, the present, and the future together, we have Karen Fallon, Bud Bowman, and John Zeller. I made sure I said that right because the spelling looks like Zeller, but it's Zeller. Gotta love phonetics, people. But here they are to weave it together. What? Don't fool me like.
Thank you, Haley. Thank you, Donna and Sister Edna, for your wisdom, your courage, and your tenacity. Thank you. And thank you all for joining us tonight to learn how that you can help us build the first intergenerational life center in Kentucky and be a part of our tapestry. For those of you that don't know me, I'm Karen Fallon. I'm the development director at Harbor House. But long before that, I was blessed to be the twin, the other half, to Bud. Bud, can you say hi? Can you say hello? Say hi. Hi. Bud's been a participant at Harbor House for 22 years, which is, as you can tell, is my purpose. He's our legacy. He's my reason for being there. And I'm blessed to be able to come to work with him every day. And he really looks forward to his time at Harbor House. I'd like to share with you the ways in which I can tell that Bud is happy to go to Harbor House. While he's not nonverbal, he's just not very verbal. And that's probably because I talk enough for both of us. When you say yeah, you ain't supposed to say yeah. When I first wake Bud up in the morning, he's a little groggy, but he knows that Mr. James is going to be pulling up in the driveway in the bus because he can hear the van backing up. And so at that point, he's done with me. He is ready to get his own life going. He likes that independence of riding the bus. He looks forward to the hugs and the smiles that he's greeted with Mr. James. That is until he gets to Harbor House. When he gets to Harbor House, Mr. James is soon forgotten because there's either Abby, Taylor, Crystal, Amber, any of the pretty ladies, because that's Bud's thing. He loves the ladies. Let's step over here, let them see you. He's going to tell you what he says to the ladies. Turn around, tell everybody, what do you say when you see pretty ladies? Hello. He says, hi, doll. Yes, Bud is a ladies' man. But he is greeted and respected and treated for the way who he is, and he's very much empowered in his day-to-day life at Harbor House. And John, I know you've heard me talk about this many times. He looks forward to going there because Harbor House is a safe, loving environment, and not just for Bud, but for all of the people that we serve at Harbor House. They are allowed to go out in the community, look for jobs. They're allowed to work in the mail room. So businesses that need any kind of mailing, we have a wonderful mail department ran by Jamie. We can take it from A to Z, not just mail. We've grown into fulfillment center. And these jobs give our participants a chance to earn a paycheck and again, have a purpose, a reason to get up and come to Harbor House. We also have many volunteers that come into Harbor House. And some of the volunteers might just think they're there doing a good deed, but I can tell you from my own experience, it's more than just volunteering. Barbara, I'm going to call you out. She comes in on Tuesdays. Miss Carolyn used to come with her. They do crafts, but it's more than crafts to the people at Harbor House. Bud puts up a Christmas tree in his room every year, and all the crafts that he makes are the ornaments on his tree, and it's the memories that he has with the seniors that come and work with him daily. So that's just a little bit about my purpose and my passion for Harbor House. I could talk for days, and I won't, but I would like to ask John to share his reason for being with us.
All right. It's just a little slow. Well, first of all, Karen, Bud, I want to thank both of you for giving me an opportunity to improve people's lives. When you take a look at the opportunity that y'all have provided for us, when I say us, our family, it started with my dad, Bob Zoller, and he got involved shortly after Maria came on board. And that help that my dad was giving was just so inspirational to me and to a lot of people at Zoller Company of how we can help and improve people's lives just every day. And it just continued on that when my dad retired, it was one of those things that he encouraged me to visit, and then as soon as I visit Harbor House, it was just the evidence of the love and the empowerment that was in there was something that we could get behind and continue to help improve people's lives. And so that whole thought process is what driving to us today, because where we started from, what we build upon, where we're going is to build a better community, one that is based on the love, hope, and empowerment. And I feel that this is the best way that I can honor my father's legacy involvement with Harbor House.
John, thank you. Thank the Zoller Pump Company for your, thank you. Thank you for helping us with our mission so that we can serve more people in the community. We truly appreciate your support, and we wouldn't be able to do it without you and the generous contribution of $3 million to this campaign from the Zoller Pump Company. I didn't cry. And not just that, I can tell you firsthand, I've gotten to know John and love John, because he doesn't just give of his dollars that he gives of his time, his talent, and his wisdom. And also, I would like to thank Elaine, because Elaine, you share a lot of John with us, and we are forever grateful to your entire family. And as we talk about legacy and going forward, an intergenerational model, it takes me back to my childhood, because you see, Bud and I were blessed to grow up in an intergenerational environment without even knowing it. We were the youngest of 11. My father passed away. However, my mother was still there. She was 45 when she had us, but her mother lived with us, so our grandmother lived with us. So naturally, we had that relationship with our grandmother. She loved us dearly, but she taught us so many lessons that we didn't realize that she was teaching. And now as I look back, like Bud didn't walk until he was 10, so he always sat Indian style, if you will, on the floor. But one of Bud's things was he would reach out and trip you if you walked past him. And then if you fell or something, he'd laugh. He just thought that was so funny. Well, one time he tripped my grandmother, and he made her fall, and she hit her head, and she cried. Well, when she cried, he became so upset. For weeks, he'd tell everybody, I made Mom cry, I made Mom cry. So from that point forward, my mom and my grandmother thought, how can we correct this behavior, because this is not acceptable. We want him to be able to go out in the community, to have a life, but also to know right from wrong and how you treat and care for people. So we started something at home where we said good hands. Do you know what good hands are? Can you show them good hands? What's good hands? Good hands. So in a positive way, we taught Bud to change his behavior. And it wasn't just my mom and my grandmother that said it. The kids, we'd have little 2 or 3 year old kids, they'd walk past, but good hands, good hands. So he taught that, and with those changes of his behavior, let him grow into who he is today, and allowed him to come to Harbor House, and they expanded on that. So they've taught him and many others to take what they can, to grow with it, to learn behaviors, and to care for each other. Most importantly, I think my reason for saying this is because that just taught Bud at an early age, and he doesn't forget. And it's very important for us to do that, and it's very important for us to get these generations together soon so that we can change more lives, because not everybody has that experience that we were blessed to have.
You know, Karen, when you take that story, it just brings me back memories. I've been blessed with a large family as well, and I have 9 brothers and sisters. I've got a lot of first cousins. Elaine comes from a large family, and so we've been around the multi-generations all our life and never even really realized it. And when Maria presented this opportunity, it brought me back some memories that when Elaine's mom was in the Nazareth home, we would go up and visit, and of course we would bring our grandchildren. Mm-hmm. And it was just amazing to watch my grandchildren, my mother, great-grandchildren, and how they would interact. And as you can imagine, young children, they have a lot of energy, they don't sit still. However, when they would come and visit, Gigi is what they called her, they would crawl up in the bed with her, and she would read them stories. And they would sit there for an hour, not moving, just hanging on every word that Gigi had to say. And it was just amazing to watch them. It made my mother-in-law's day. It made the children's day. And it just became just really exciting to see. And this intergenerational center that we are going to be building gives that opportunity to have those life experiences across the generations to be able to build upon and share with everybody.
I agree. Those interactions between generations is the reason that we're here today. Harbor House has been serving individuals with disabilities for nearly 30 years, and now we know it is time to serve more people, not just people with disabilities. We don't want to keep people separated. It's about being together, being a community, and learning to help each other. And our mission at Harbor House has always been and always will be one of service and love, and I'm very honored and humbled to not just receive those services for 22 years, but to also make a difference in somebody else's life in this community, because I feel like that's where God wanted me to be. And that is why we're asking you here to do what you can to support us in that mission as we grow and go forward.
And so you get to the point to where we are today. We're here because of a journey that started a long time ago, and as Maria has articulated in her life story of how we've gotten here. As being involved on the board, being able to encourage Maria and the staff to keep moving forward, but in a controlled manner. It is exciting to be where we are today because this intergenerational center started development about 6 years ago when we were doing our due diligence, getting the plans together, how we would staff it, how we would fund it, and everything involved to be able to put this type of organization together. In late 2019, we started a private phase of the capital campaign, and of course, everybody knows what happened in 2020, so it was pretty much put on pause until earlier this year when we got started again. We are ready to move. We are ready to go. And to date, we have about 125 individuals, foundations, and industries that have contributed to the capital campaign to where we are today of over $7 million. And tonight, we are kicking off our public phase to get the whole community involved in this process. So we are inviting you to become part of the fabric of Harbor House and follow in our family and company's footsteps, honoring our past, living in the present, and connecting for the future. We hope that your experience with Harbor House is as enriching and powerful as it has been for our family. Through your donations, contributions, and involvement, a gift of your time, talent, and treasure, we, together, will continue to build the future. We all start at a level that is good for ourselves. Whether your support is in the form of time, talent, or treasure, we all have something to give. I know we are going to reach our goal. We will surpass that goal with your help. Your help is what we need to bring this vision to a reality. A community of intergenerational life centers. We are here tonight so that you can join our Intergenerational Lighthouse Society. With making that pledge, you can help build the future. And Hadley is here to tell us how you can do that.
Do I get one of those, hey ladies?
Tell her, what's your pickup line? Tell her. I like your style.
Oh, he likes my style.
Give her a hug. Can you give him a hug?
Oh, I get a hug. Oh my goodness. Hi. Ooh. Ladies, man. Thank you, bud. All right, so as they said, I'm going to tell y'all how you can contribute to this awesome project. Why don't we give a hand first for the folks and the participants who are here tonight? The people who worked so hard to put this foundation together and to work really hard with this intergenerational community. So, we are all here to give in some way and show our supports, and I'm here to make sure you know exactly how you can help. Because sometimes knowing exactly what to do when you want to do something is the hardest part. I know that myself, having set up and worked on several community service projects. Sometimes knowing where to start or what to do is the hardest part. So, your table captain has a pledge card, a single pledge card for each of you. And they will pass that out now. So I trust that because the MC said it, it will happen, right? So go on and reach in that little packet. There's a little card that says something about donations and pledges on there. So this is so you can give in the best way for you. So you can give in cash, check, card, bank transfer, or you can give online right on your little cell phone, okay? And all you have to do is go on the Harbor House website. You can give your time, your talent, or your treasure. Anything that you can give is appreciated because as we know, when you're trying to do a big project like this, every little bit helps. So, we will be receiving donations for the next 15 to 20 minutes, and whatever you can give, even if it's not monetary tonight, anything you give, time, talent, or treasure is appreciated. I know that this will not be the last that Harbor House sees of Miss Kentucky because I have already talked and I have full plans to get as involved as possible with this organization because they've touched my heart tonight and I know they touched so many other hearts in this community and all around. And as I said at the beginning, I think every state needs a Harbor House. So if you all are giving of your time, talent, and treasure, there's no telling what we can do for individuals of all ages across all abilities, levels, and all parts of the life spectrum. So thank you all for being with us tonight. Make sure you fill out those pledge cards if you're willing to donate or pledge anything. And God bless you all and be safe on your travels home. Thank you. Okay, one more thing. Sorry, hi, it's me again. You didn't get rid of me that easy. All right, so I think that because God has so graciously gotten us all here for such a time as this. One of my favorite verses in the Bible is Esther 4:14. Perhaps you've come to this position for such a time as this. I think we're all here for such a time as this. And so we're going to end with prayer tonight.
Father God, we just want to say thank you. Thank you for giving unto us all that you had to give in a Savior, that being our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. Thank you, Father God, for bringing us through one of the most difficult years that we've seen, 2020. We lost loved ones, we lost friends. But by your grace and by your mercy, we're still here. And we thank you for that. Thank you for blessing us to come into this place. And I ask that you bless us as we leave it. I petition a host of angels right now to travel with every one of us, taking us to our destination safe and sound. And I'll be mindful to forever praise your holy and righteous name, as I ask it all in the name of Jesus. But I claim all I ask in the name of Jesus being done. Amen.
Okay, now Remember the pledge cards. And now you all have a great and blessed night and have a safe trip home, wherever that may be.